tonight on the Chillstream. St. Michael gets outraged. Zion Don bends the knee even further, and I have had it up to here with Sports Ball Guy. All of that, so much more, coming up in 2 minutes. All right, we are back. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Monday Night Chill Stream, our normal time, our normal day. Well, not really our normal time. I thought I had this set up for earlier. Something went wrong, and I had to redo everything at the last minute. But I saved it. I think one of my primary skills in life is keeping it from going into the ditch. You know what I mean? When you're going, you're sort of flat out. Flat out, you're going full speed, and a wheel comes off, and you start skidding towards the ditch. You have to keep it from going in the ditch, and I think that's one of my primary skills in life. Now that if I meditate on it for a moment, that seems to be one of the things I do best is keep it from going to absolute hell. Anyway, with that, it is Monday the 27th. Of May 2024. Man, this is like such a ridiculous amount of things going on. Last week on the special Sunday episode. So let's see where I want to start with this. Last week on the special Sunday episode of the Chill Stream, I went out Monday. I woke up Monday. I actually drank more Sunday night than I planned on it. Well, whatever. I drank a lot, but I felt pretty good Monday. I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll go get on the boomer cycle. So I was like, but I got to do some housekeeping chores, throw out the trash, this and that, blah, 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 blah. I live on the second floor. So I look out. I don't know why I did this. I look out the window. There's an Indian dude on the sidewalk, like over there, like kind of 200 feet away. Whatever. So I gear up, get the trash bag, and I walk out of my apartment holding the trash bag, right? The guy looks at me. I see him, whatever. I turn right. He turns around, right? I go down the sidewalk. I zigzag left, then right. Then I go behind the building. And then I go right again. And this guy he follows me like zigzag left, right, behind the building. Now we're in an alleyway at the back that way. And there's a bunch of garages and stuff back there. And I'm kind of aware this guy's following me. Mind you, it's broad daylight, and the guy says he's just some fucking street shitter. And I'm walking with the trash bag, walking. I walk to where the trash bins are, the dumpsters, whatever you want to call them. open up the lid, and I throw the trash bag. When I do that, this guy's, my fucking hand to God, he's like 8 feet away from me. I fucking look at him, and he says, "Are these the trash bins?" And I said, "What?" Oh, he said, uh, "I just moved in. Uh, are these the trash bins?" And I'm like, "You moved in. It's the 20th of the month. You moved in on the first of the month. You haven't thrown out any trash in 20 fucking days. It took you 20 days to, and your best idea of where the trash bins are is just to fucking randomly follow some dude carrying a trash bag. You never thought to fucking ask." Like, these people drive me fucking nuts. I said, "Hey, quit following people." And he says, "Oh, I wasn't following you." And at this point, I'm like, I deliberately just turn away from this guy. I just make myself face that direction, and I start like just pushing myself to walk away from this guy. Because if I turn towards him, I'm gonna fucking, I'm gonna regret it, right? So I'm gonna end up regretting it. And I'm like, oh, I do not fucking believe this is how my Monday starts out. Anyway, it was a really nice day. I felt good. I said, "Fuck it. Let me see how I feel if I get on the bike. See if I feel like shit. I'll put it away early. But if not, I'll just ride." And I went out like all day. Had a really good day, despite the fact that this fucking annoying encounter started my day off. And I'm like, I realize this is so fucking. It's such a symbol of the frustration I feel in so many other areas of my life. People will follow me like step for step, turn for turn, right? In broad daylight, I head for this giant thing that you can't fucking miss, and they miss it. And they get right on top of it, watch me do the thing, and then they go, should I do that thing? That makes me fucking crazy. Those people, they are hated for a fucking reason. So that was, but anyway, like I said, Monday when I met, so I was out all day on a bike. I just wandered around. I got fucking lost. I had no idea where the fuck I was. Had a blast. Had an absolute fucking blast. So that was that. And then the week went okay. Other than my car getting hit while it was parked. I don't know if I mentioned that last time. But it's a piece of junk. 2006 Toyota Matrix. But I couldn't get my driver door open without, I had to get a hammer and a fucking big screwdriver and bend the crappy soft sheet metal to get around so I can get in and out of the car without a scrunching and a clunking noise. But this is all minor stuff. During the week, I've been messaging sports ball guy back and forth, and I said I'm done with this guy at this point. I've had enough to hear with him. The problem is he thinks he knows shit he doesn't know, and I would tell him things, and he would say that's not how it is, and then I would find like an Instagram video showing them saying exactly what I said or worse, and he'd go, well, that's not all of them, and he would keep fucking arguing with me with all his fucking qualifications of this and that back and forth. And I'm like, listen, dude, uh, one of his primary arguments was he met the guy that was that one of the characters in The Wolf of Wall Street was based on, or some shit like that. Or one of the characters in, there was another movie called The Big Shit. The Big Short. So one of those. Those are his two favorite movies. And I'm trying to talk to this guy, and I'm like, he watches TV all day, and he watches sports ball, the stock market, and then Netflix. And he thinks that he is not a normie. So, well, how does this guy watch TV all day? He used to be a golf caddy with a bunch of Wall Street people back in the days. And in the wintertime, he would drive for Lyft, which is like Uber. And a few years back, while he was driving for Lyft, he got hit by an 18-wheel truck, and he needed surgery on his back. You should never let them cut your back, by the way. But he did. So he had surgery on his back. He's got some crushed discs or something. I don't know what he's really capable of, not capable of. but basically he sits home all day and he watches TV. And he's one of those guys that's like, if the people on Wall Street say they hate something, well, they're secretly under the table accumulating it and this and that. And I'm like, I was like, dude, listen, when people tell me who they are, I believe them. This is the easiest and simplest way to go through life. When people tell you who they are, just believe them. Just believe them. It's so much fucking easier. Don't do the double think. They're like you grew up under communism. You would read about how people who grew up in the Soviet Union, whatever the newspaper said, whatever the newspaper headline was, the people would think the opposite, right? There's no news in truth. There's no truth in news. I don't want to live like a prisoner of Soviet communism. I realize I live in a communist country. We have a central bank, and we are subject to all of the whims of central bankers. But I don't want to. I refuse to live my life like a communist. I refuse to, when someone tells me something, sit there and go, yes, that's what they're saying. But what they really mean is the opposite. I'm not doing that, right? When Warren Buffett says, Bitcoin is rat poison squared. I believe him. That's when he says that. I believe Warren Buffett thinks Bitcoin is rat poison squared. By the way, I don't give a fuck what he thinks about it, but I believe him when he says that, right? When Jamie Dimon, head of JP Morgan, says, I don't give a fuck about Bitcoin, how it trades, where it trades, what it trades for. It could trade for $100,000 and go to zero. I don't give a fuck. I believe him. You know what I mean? I just take you at face value because it's easier for me. I don't do the double think, double back. This is the secret meaning. I don't do that. It's just you're fucking lost. You're a neurotic lunatic if you do that. Virgil Doc, Purple Heart, welcome to the show, sir. Sorry I started late. There was some fumbles. There was some little false start. I thought I had the show programmed at the right time, and then it didn't go through. I don't know. Whatever. We're here. Virgil Doc Purple Heart is here. Virgil Doc Purple Heart, a like button smasher, by the way, and a man you should emulate. If you're looking to emulate someone who smashes up the like. So yeah, sports ball guy is like, well, I know the guy that was in the movie The Big Short, but I'm like, dude, finally I was like, listen, I said, you get your news from television and you get your history from movies. I said, and you are not the fucking measure of all things. That's it. And you're telling me about this rich guy or that rich guy. I'm talking about the motherfuckers who print the fucking money. They're the ones who print the money that your rich friends use to impress you. And you can't get that across. In the same way that, the fucking dopey Indian guy follows me right to the dumpster and says, is that the dumpster? This is where you throw the trash. Like you think, how is that even a real question? You've got to be fucking trolling. But they're not. And this is, people just aren't going to get it. They just aren't going to get it. And so I'm not going to expend a lot more energy trying to convince them, because I'm just going to end up frustrated, right? It's like teaching a pig to sing. You never try to teach a pig to sing because it wastes your time and it annoys the pig. So that's kind of where we are, or at least I am personally with the last week or so. Although I have video showing the title of tonight's stream. The thief of joy comes from a quote by a Roman senator named Livy. And the full quote is, comparison is the thief of joy. So if you're comparing yourself to others and who are greater than you, you're always going to find yourself lacking, and that's going to suck the joy out of your life. So do not compare yourself to others in a negative fashion, because it will literally steal the joy in your life. And trust me, there's enough outside influences. There are enough bad people out there in the world who are trying to steal your joy. You don't have to fucking help them along with that. You don't have to help them along with that. But man, there's like, Christ, there's so much stuff. There's like a ridiculous amount of stuff that I have. And what should I start with first? what should I start with first? Yeah, well, that's sports. One of sportsbook guy's favorite dudes. We all know him. None of us like them. And if you like him, you need to have your head examined. Zion Don, yes, the one and only Donald Trump pledges to protect the right to self-custody Bitcoin. Well, I got news for you, Zion Don. We don't need your fucking protection, right? And we don't give a fuck, right? He also says he's going to free that guy from the Silk Road website. But yeah, when I tell you everyone's going to bend the knee, he's bending the fucking knee, and they're not going to stop. They're just not going to stop. You know what I mean? This is the way it is. And when you think about this, the 2024 election cycle. Imagine 2028. Imagine 2028. Where the fuck are we going to be? Like, where are we going to be? Right? You got Kennedy and Trump both talking about Bitcoin, and Biden is not at the moment. But there's as it gets closer to election time, he's going to take credit for anything that they do, anything and everything. You know that, right? And this is 2024. Wait till 2028 comes. When 2028 comes, it's going to be I don't know what's going to happen, but it is going to be wilder. And I mean fucking wilder than any of us can fucking imagine. Any of us. So here he is. It's 31 seconds of the one and only Zion Don Trump making some bullshit promises.
I will ensure that the future of crypto and the future of Bitcoin will be made in the USA, not driven overseas. I will support the right to self-custody to the nation's 50 million crypto holders. I say this with your vote. I will keep Elizabeth Warren and her goons away from your Bitcoin. And I will never allow the creation of a central bank digital currency. I will also.
He got booed and shit. He got, he walked up the stage. He was being booed. But like he's trying to do the suck up act. And what, you're going to protect us from Elizabeth Warren? Do you really? That's the boogeyman. That's the best boogeyman his speechwriters could come up with. You know what I mean? Some postmenopausal Karen, and you're going to protect us from that. Yeah, sure. Okay, Donnie boy. All right, whatever. Whatever. And as for he's going to stop a central bank digital currency in America, they're planning something that's so fucking mind-bogglingly bizarre. I don't even know how to fucking describe it. I got a 1 minute video from what is it, that Kitco Gold Company, that gorgeous fucking South African woman, Michelle McCory, explaining how the current banking network plans to tackle the 21st century. This girl, even if you don't want to listen to what she has to say, she's very easy on the eyes.
A major move for the accelerated adoption of CBDCs, or central bank digital currencies. The global bank messaging network, SWIFT, is planning a new platform to connect all the central bank digital currencies now in development to the existing financial system. This platform is expected to launch within the next 2 years and would be one of the most significant developments for the nascent CBDC ecosystem, given SWIFT's key role in global banking. Currently, around 90% of the world's central banks are exploring CBDCs, which are programmable digital currencies that operate as fiat currency and are controlled and issued by central banks. They can be used to monitor every single transaction, obliterating privacy and anonymity, and can be programmed to work or not work depending on the nature of that transaction.
That's our girl. The Kitco is mostly a gold company, but they're pro Bitcoin as well. So what you're saying is that the current electronic network for transferring money around the world, called the SWIFT network, is going to have something attached to it. They're going to build another network under their network where like the English digital shitcoin can be traded for the Euro digital shitcoin, which can be traded for South American digital shitcoin. And all of these shitcoins will go into this Swift network thing, and it will do the exchange rate or whatever. Like, how do you know what the South Korean shitcoin is worth versus what the Australian shitcoin is like? And they're going to do all of that, and this is all going to be ready in 2 years. I doubt it's going to be ready in 2 years. I can imagine it's going to be like fucking beyond not happening in 2 years, but whatever. They've announced their plan and they say they're going to get there. I don't think they're going to get there, but whatever. Let them try. Let them try. It will be fun to watch them fall entirely on their face, on their fucking face. Whereas because all of these geniuses are all going to fucking fall on their face. All of them, all of them, all of them. Another billionaire. I don't have a video, and it doesn't matter because I don't even remember this guy's name is. But this is another Jewish billionaire who he owns like a ton of real estate and has a fund, and he says that you cannot withdraw your money that you gave him, for his real estate investment trust because he's having a bit of a liquidity crisis. So real estate, all these Jewish real estate billionaires crashing every fucking where, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I mentioned that in New York City, right? I've mentioned that the empty buildings in New York and other cities, but in New York, the landlords it looked like they're trying to come to a deal, right? 64 office buildings in New York City could become new housing. Now, turning office space into residential space is incredibly hard. You'd have to break or change a bunch of laws, and incredibly expensive, like mind-blowingly expensive. But apparently there's 64 office towers in Manhattan that are looking to dig down deep into that fucking public treasury and take money to transform office space into residential space. And I don't know who the fuck's going to afford to live there, but that way, if they do that, the banks will not go under because the property's in transition or some shit or whatever. Like, it won't. All the banks won't fucking go under at once. But I don't know what 64 office buildings in Manhattan total, but I'm guessing it's many billions. I'm guessing it is many, many billions. In the meantime, around the world, what are we doing? What we're doing is we're pulling boomers out of fucking retirement, right? The nuclear. I can't remember if I showed this last week. Nuclear industry brings back a silver tsunami of retirees. So all these guys, in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, who had these nuclear engineering degrees and were frustrated, had no careers or nothing, and finally said, "Fuck it, I'm throwing in the towel," because there's no industry and we can't build anything. We can't do what we know we can do. All of a sudden, they're being called back. Put down the oxygen bottle, pick up that aluminum walker, and get out here. We have power plants to build. And when the empire, and America is the global empire, when the empire wants something, its arm is incredibly fucking long. We can reach to anywhere, any fucking where, right? The promise of nuclear energy brings the West to Mongolia. Yes, the land of Genghis Khan is going to give it up. They have rocks underneath their feet. They have no idea what those rocks are used for. And we're going to go there, and instead of paying an American to pick up like this, because there's plenty of radioactive material out in Arizona and fucking New Mexico and shit like that. That's where we got all our original stuff back in the day. You're not allowed to touch it anymore, but so we're going to go, instead of paying an American guy, you'd have to pay him at least like federal minimum wage, like $12.50 an hour, to pick up some fucking radioactive rock and toss it in a truck. Well, we're going to pay somebody in fucking Mongolia $12.50 a month to do the same thing, and probably extract fucking 5 times more ore out of Mongolia than we could get from America, because all those pesky fucking health and safety fucking rules we have. But if we want it, we'll find it anywhere on the fucking planet. So landlords, commercial landlords, not going to get hurt. You can't have your money back, no refunds if you've already given your money to these guys. And in the meantime, where's our friends? This is I mentioned last week that Jeff Bezos' father was head of the Atomic Energy Commission, a 7-state, 26,000 employee strong federal agency which oversaw the entire nuclear industry, I guess including the theft of plutonium that went to Israel. But we'll skip over that. Quick news story. Amazon workers say they struggle to afford food and rent. It sucks working for Amazon. Oh, that sucks. Man, that really sucks. And in the, this is impossible to parody. This is why it's very hard to parody this shit. But there's this. Jeff Bezos quietly enters residential mortgage business, giving high interest rate loans to other investors. I don't know, people with commercial real estate in New York City. But isn't it ironic that Jeff Bezos is giving mortgages to everyone except the people who work for him? I would love to see someone ask Bezos or anyone else, like, hey, you're in the mortgage business. What percentage of Amazon workers would qualify for a mortgage so that Amazon workers can own their own house? Will that question ever be asked? Hell fucking no. Hell to the fucking no. Ever. So, and this, again, it's impossible to fucking parody this shit. It is impossible to parody this. It cannot be parodied. So what am I going to do? Like I said, fucking what's his name? Saylor fucking gets outraged. So we got to beat up on Saylor because, listen, what do I do if not the constant barrage of verbal abuse to billionaires? What am I here for? Why was I even put on this earth? But no, here's once again, here's Michael Saylor, the amazing, even a guy this smart, and I'm going to show him being smart, but this is not the smart one. Even a guy this smart, just fucking this things you don't see, selective attention. You get this and you fucking completely miss that. You walk right up to the dumpster and go, is this where you throw out the, excuse me, is this where you throw out the trash? So here's Mikey, 56 seconds, being outraged and not quite connecting the dots.
The Wolf of Wall Street, the entire movie, was financed by Jolo.
Got it. There he is with Leonardo DiCaprio right there.
There he is.
At the Wolf of Wall Street premiere, it looks like.
It's very famous. The great...
Get out of here.
Okay, that entire movie cost more than $100 million. It was paid for with money stolen from the Malaysian people. Jolo wanted to be a movie star. Jolo dated starlets. He bought multi-$100 million yachts. He would spend $5 million a night in clubs. He would come down here to the Miami nightclub. He would walk into a nightclub and he would spend $4 million. He would buy $2,000 bottles of champagne like that, spray it everywhere, buy $100 more of them. And people said, how can this guy spend $1 million a night or $2 million a night or the like? And the answer is he stole the money. Yeah. He stole billions and billions of dollars.
Yeah, Mike. Now, dude, that's stunning and brave. You found some fat Chinaman who ripped off the taxpayers of Malaysia. Stunning and brave. Now do your buddies in Washington, D.C. Now do your friends at DuPont and Microsoft and Silicon Valley. He can't do that. But at least he has the idea that people with access to taxpayer money use it for their own ends, right? Not for the betterment of the taxpayer, right? Sounds kind of communistical coming from a billionaire. But yeah, you know, this is the way of the world, and this is what we want to change, or this is what we're going to change, because we're not asking for permission, and it's not, you know, the majority of us, and I'm telling you, this first generation of Bitcoiners is fucking marshmallow soft, and super fucking naive. Saylor doesn't sound very self-aware there, right? He just doesn't. You know, he was Air Force brat, saw how much money went into technology, tried to be a fighter pilot, you know, failed at that because of a medical thing. And then he went to work for DuPont, which was a defense contractor, creating a computer simulation of global thermonuclear war. That's how he got his start. That's how MicroStrategy got its start, through the DuPont company, which back then and probably still today has extensive contracts with Department of Defense. So, and he's oblivious to the fact that he is where he is because other people did what Jolo the Fat Chinaman did, except they did it on fucking, you know, on a scale 1,000 times larger, 10,000 times larger. But St. Michael is, you know, I as much as I beat on him, he does have, I think, a longer term strategy, which is probably more useful if you really think strategically. But this is the kind of strategy you can only think of when you sit on top of a couple of $1 billion. When you're up there with the Olympians, then you can see things this way. But for those of us lower down at the level of at the earthbound level, it's a little bit different. But here's 43 seconds of Michael Saylor, St. Michael of Bitcoin, making sense and sounding pretty smart.
When you introduce a new technology, there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. I think when you say, you're wrong, you're stupid, I'm smart, do it my way, change your way, the louder you say that, the harder someone pushes back against you. And there are examples in our political system where certain political parties, their position is the other party is wrong, we're right, they're stupid, we're smart, do it our way, and give us credit and blame them. That's an inflammatory approach. I think that you could spend $100 billion trying to jam your idea on someone that doesn't want it. They will just crowdsource $100 billion of power to push back, and that's called fighting a war.
So he says he answered that's called fighting a war. Okay. When he says they will crowdsource, he doesn't get that the crowdsource is like the same 13 dudes, just, you know, in different kosher enclaves, you know, around America and the world. So yeah, they push back against each other and they come up with those $100 billion like this to convince you that we're smart and right and they're dumb and wrong. But his basics, the strategy that he's talking about, present this in a way that is non-threatening and non-confrontational to people with some resources and power. That's pretty smart, right? So what he's essentially looking to do is recruit through self-interest a base of wealthy and powerful people to protect Bitcoin, the technology, the asset, et cetera, right? That's really what he's doing. And, you know, he understands that being an inflammatory, pugnacious person that's not going to get you very far, particularly with that crowd, which he's somewhat familiar with. Those are his social peers. So he's not wrong in that. But for the rest of us, you know, who are like the Malaysian people, subject to having all of our work and everything we created just taken from us, and we have no recourse. We can't hire lawyers. We can't, you know, we can't stop working for fiat, you know, and go fight a court battle. You know what I mean? We can't tell someone else mind my company while I go meet with my lawyer. you just get ripped off, and you hope you can recover from it. So and he doesn't understand that, again, because he's at the top of Mount Olympus, and we're down here at the Malaysian level. He doesn't see it. He's not going to see it. Now, I'm not saying he should, but understand there's things he can see, things that he just can't see. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the reality. But this attitude that this kid, I see, it's one of his better shorts. This is closer to my worldview and my thinking. Although, yeah, it's close. It's not incompatible with what Sailor's saying, but he needs to pitch his non-inflammatory. Here's why it's in your self-interest to do it, and we need at the below the level of the clouds. We need more of this. Now, what happened? I did not hear the sound on that. Luckily, somebody put a text graphic up for everything that the guy said, and he gave that Meyer Rothschild quote. Give me control of the money, and I care not who writes a nation's laws. And Bitcoin is you controlling your own money. It's that big of an idea, and I don't think too many people just aren't there yet. Will we get there? I suppose eventually, but we ain't there yet. But the understanding that all of this has to go before something else good pops up is necessary. And the new world that they think they're going to create is going to be created by this guy. Here's everyone's favorite sperm sucker, Sam Altman.
I think what you really want is to find the smallest possible cohesive subset of your market, the most narrow, smallest market you can find, with users that desperately need what you're doing, and go after that first. Once you take over that market, then you can expand. And I think this is true for marketplaces, but it's also true for Reddit or Dropbox or Stripe. Anything we've funded has had this characteristic. The markets that are too big are too hard to really take over all of, and you do need to get to a point where you have very high penetration in some specific market. And by far, it's easier to get there if you have users that really, really want what you're doing.
You mean, like, I don't know, if you get the King of England to so deeply in debt to you that 40% of his income goes to you, then you get to control all of England, like Aaron of Lincolnshire did? Is that you find the smallest possible market and penetrate that? Whoever heard of that strategy, Sam Altman? But that's to gauge you, the high priest of AI and I guess to some degree robotics. So I don't know if you noticed it, but I saw it and I screenshot it. The high priest, where is it? Where the fuck is it? Yeah, I screenshotted it. Take a look at this. Do you notice over I guess it's on the left side of the screen, there's like a volcano and there's a menorah on top of the volcano. It's not really a menorah, but it really is it's like right in the center of whatever that painting is behind. So that's a painting behind him of a menorah with some gold coming out of it, and then like little stars coming out of that. Stuff to see in detail. And then there's like a cat or a leopard or something, and either the sun is shining out of its ass or it's sitting on a cactus or whatever. I don't know. I wonder what the left side of the fucking painting shows. But I thought, how many people in that room noticed that they're looking at a menorah as the center of everything? How many people saw that? Because I saw that. You know what I mean? I don't listen. There's nothing that guy could possibly say that could interest me for 2 seconds. I know who he is and what he is. He was installed there by the bankers to be the homosexual Jew who will save America, save the economy, remake the world. He's going to do tikkun olam, right? You need a homosexual Jew to fix the world's problems, because without that, we're lost, right? AI is going to do this and AI is going to do that. It's bullshit. And he's the front man. He's a front man for the bankers themselves. So, and in the meantime, they're always doing some fucking shit. This is BlackRock, right? The savior of fucking Bitcoin. I don't know. They're doing something. BlackRock secretive transactions with Coinbase that are off chain, or say like I don't know what they're doing. There is always fuckery afoot with these people. There is always fuckery afoot. But go ahead and do it. Really go ahead and do it. This is good for Bitcoin. We welcome it. We really welcome it, because in order to take over the fucking planet, we're going to have to fight a lot of fucking battles. A lot of battles. Luckily, our enemies are very stupid. In particular, the Venezuelans are stupid. Venezuelan authorities announced a Bitcoin mining ban. They confiscate 11,000 miners in the face of the nation's energy crisis. Literally, there is not a country on the face of the earth that has more fucking energy per fucking capita than Venezuela. But the Venezuelans decided to take a couple of suitcases full of fucking fiat and ban Bitcoin mining. Listen to me. You cannot ban Bitcoin. You can only ban yourself from Bitcoin. Have fun staying poor. Have fun staying poor. They're never gonna fucking stop with this shit. I saw this and this reminded me of the what was that fucking presidential campaign, like the Goldwater presidential campaign in the 60s, where they had like 6,000 psychiatrists say that Barry Goldwater is a mentally unstable person who should not be fucking president or something like that. They always do some stupid shit like that. Well, this guy, Yuval Noah Harari, who I think he says most of humanity should die because they're useless. He's against Bitcoin. Can you imagine? They call him a famous philosopher. I don't know. Famous compared to who? Like famous compared to who? I don't know. Who's he famous compared to? Some fucking crackhead on the side of the fucking road? I don't know. But listen, they're going to do all this stuff, and that's really fucking great. It's absolutely great. It's good for us. It really is good for us. Yeah. What else? What did I not? Is there anything I did not do? I'm trying. I don't want to do the. I got like 3 videos I don't want to do because they're all on the negative side. They're all on the negative side. Let us turn our attention once again to the title of tonight's stream, The Thief of Joy. I'm going to show you a video, 29-second video, that as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, I gotta fucking grab this. This is kind of typical of what I have personally witnessed. I'm not sure where this video was taken, but I am directly a part of this industry. And I really, really laughed when I saw this.
So just like with cars and homes, there's levels to private jets. We have our little baby Cessna Citation here, and then there's jets like that, the Global Express 7500, which is what, nearly $100 million?
We can taxi under its wing.
Our whole plane fits under it, like insane. This is basically 1970s used Honda Civic next to a brand new Bugatti. So yeah, there's levels to it, and we're at the bottom.
There's levels to it. You didn't understand. Like, oh, you were 20-something with a private jet. You see him holding a credit card in his hand with a piece of paper. That's for fuel and parking and stuff. They make them print it out, even though they can email it anywhere. So can you imagine you were 20-something flying in a private jet, your family's private jet, your dad's corporation, not good enough, you compare yourself to that private jet, right? And now that Livy quote, right? Comparison is the thief of joy. Now it makes a lot of sense, right? Instead of thinking, my God, we're so fucking lucky. We get to fly in a private jet wherever we want to go. You immediately you compare yourself to someone who has more than you, and now, oh, it's a used 74 Honda Accord, right? This shows how impoverished you are. Poor little me with my Cessna jet. I don't have a bomb. It's a Bombardier, whatever the fuck you said it was. And I've said it before. I've seen these people. I don't really interact with them a great deal. Obviously, it's not my place. But I go in and out of these private jet ports, these FBOs, and they're not happy people. They aren't happy people. They are. Part of it is they can have no social interaction with people too far below them in the social scale, which is everyone. But the other part is that's the way they really think. It's not good enough. You know what I mean? Unless when I tell you they're like fucking children, they're like children. Like my piece of cake is this big, but his piece of cake is that big. So I'm unhappy. And you think, how could you possibly be unhappy? Well, the answer is, the thief of joy is in your head, right? Negative comparison is the thief of joy. Now, that having been said, Friday was no work, Saturday was no work. Sunday, I did go drive down to Dulles. And while I was down there, there was a family there, which was the mom was short, blonde, very wide, not like round, but whatever. She was not well shaped in life, but she was there with her kids, and they were delayed flying down to Florida because of weather. Long story short, but this woman was cool with it. She says, "Well, we're just gonna have to spend the night here. Where do we sleep? We're gonna spend the." She points at one of the leather couches. Well, that looks nice. We'll just sleep there. And she's not being sarcastic or mean. She's like laughing about it. She's with her two sons and I think a daughter. And the sons are like late teens, early 20s. And the front desk staff, like they're kind of like, well, ma'am, there's weather coming into Florida, blah, 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 this and that. And she says, oh, I don't know. She points to one of her sons. She says, tell him he's the one that wants to be a pilot. And so the boy's like, I don't know, 18, like, no, looks like a normal 18-year-old kid. And they're like, here, take a look. And he's like so excited to see their radars and stuff. And he's like, he just wants to, he loves airplanes. You could tell the kid loves planes, loves flying. And you know what? Mom's in a good mood. They take her somewhere around the back and show her some stuff. She's not even busting balls. She's just, would she prefer to be home in wherever they are, Boca Raton? I'm sure. But she dealt with it. She was dealing with it just fine. She was a happy person, as she should be. She had 3 great looking kids who were perfectly healthy. She's flying on a private jet. Is it inconvenient that, they can't fly where they want to go because there's rainstorms? Yeah. But she wasn't throwing a fit. You know what I mean? So there are some of them who kind of get it and can have the necessary flexibility in life to understand what's possible, what's not possible, and to do it with grace and good humor. But most of them are like the video you just seen, where they cry that they're only in a $20 million airplane, not an $80 million airplane. And those are the people that run everything. Those are the people that absolutely fucking run everything. And they believe that AI and robots are going to replace all the shit that they don't like. The other thing I was thinking about this all week: self-driving cars. The Apple computer company wasted $10 billion with a B, to try and make self-driving cars. They keep pushing this self-driving car concept. As someone who used to work in the taxi business way back in the 90s and the 2000s, the business was destroyed. Uber and Lyft came in. They just fucking destroyed the taxi business or the delivery business, whatever you want to call it. Black cars, SUVs, doesn't make a fucking difference what you want to call it. It's just total shit. It is shit in every way it can be shit. And these people, when they get on and off these airplanes, oftentimes they don't have their cars there. You know what I mean? They call a black car, an SUV or whatever, and they get some third world fucking guy who, swears he doesn't smoke, but he reeks of fucking tobacco. And, even though they're always outside the vehicle smoking, it sticks in their clothes. And these people, they don't want, they destroyed the fucking taxi business. They allowed the taxi business to be destroyed. They didn't insist on, American English-speaking drivers. They tolerated the third world, tolerated, and now it's everywhere. And now they can't escape it. And now what they want is just, give me a car that drives itself. Give me a robot car so I don't have to deal with any smelly Pakistani dude or some confused fucking South American who can't read the signs in English. They just give me a robot, right? Their hope now, after having destroyed the livery business and the taxi business, and probably made a shit ton of money off of fucking Uber, is the robots are going to save. And, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I mentioned years ago when I had to take a piece to Nantucket. And this is sort of a Trump-related story because Trump was still running at the time. I don't think he had secured the nomination. And I'm on the ferry, and there was an older woman talking with a young couple who just had a baby, and the older woman said, told the young girl who just had a baby, you have to make sure to put your child in a private school on Nantucket. And I was like, I remember it's going, am I fucking crazy? What did I just hear? And I'm like, man, what do you mean private school? Like, aren't the schools on Nantucket good? And she's like, oh no, the schools on Nantucket aren't. They're not good. And I'm like, how could that be? It's an island full of millionaires, but they imported third world, South American, Central American gardeners, cooks, housekeepers, blah 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 blah. They eventually get together at cerveza time, and Pedro and fucking Florentina pop out a little fucking Jose, and the kids got to go to school, and more and more and more until their schools are filled with 90 IQ Central Americans, when their darling 140 IQ precious white kids are trying to get into Harvard. You can't. This doesn't work. So they had to create private schools on top of the existing public school system. They destroyed their own public school system because they wanted cheaper labor, and then they have to come up with this bizarre fucking cope on top of it. And that is happening in fucking spades all over the place. And those are the fucking people that run this fucking country. So, maybe Michael Saylor's right when he says, like, oh, we have to charm them and say it this way and that way, and don't be inflammatory, and don't point out that they fucking literally destroyed the world. Yeah, I guess. And I assume he knows what he's talking about. But everything they have, the basis for their wealth, the basis for everything, that has to be, let's say, reorganized. And they think they can do it in 2 years with their fucking CBDC network fucking thing. Yeah, I don't think so. I really don't think so. But they're gonna try, and they're gonna pour $8 gazillion dollars. They're gonna build nuclear power plants everywhere, and the entire time they're gonna try to create new computer chips that are not from that guy, that goop from fucking NVIDIA. And the thing about that is that I remember reading this, that Intel, if you remember Intel in the 90s, that company was the shit. They were the computer chip company globally. But, research and development is hard and expensive, and they found it was easier to pump up their stock price by just buying back their own stock, and then exercising their options, and that's how they've been making money mostly the last 20-25 years. and they're up against the gook who used to clean toilets and two white guys. There's two white guys in NVIDIA that are like real white guys. They're not fellow white guys. And the U.S. government was hoping to get Intel to knock NVIDIA off its perch, which is much harder than just building a better chip. But one of the big hangups was, and they were going to build it. I remember they were going to open a computer chip factory in Ohio, in the center of America. Blah 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 blah. All this bullshit. But the Ohio state has a law that if you hire women have to be X% of your workforce, and you have to give them 6 months maternity leave. And the dudes at Intel were like, listen, tell them bitches to fucking swallow, because we're not, there's no way we're paying for 6 months baby care. You know what I mean? So they balked and back and forth, and the deal ended up falling through. So now Intel thinks that they're going to build a factory in Japan that's going to do for them whatever they promised Congress that they can do. But they've been coasting and playing stock market games for a couple of decades, while the Chinaman and his two white buddies went from being nobodies to being worth $82 billion a piece. So I don't think Intel's going to win. I don't see anybody touching this goop and his buddies for the next 10 fucking years. And not even the Alphabet people, because even if the Alphabet people sabotage NVIDIA, they're sabotaging everyone that needs NVIDIA's chips, and NVIDIA is 90% of the market, and probably 100% of the chips that mine Bitcoin. I don't think anybody is mining Bitcoin that does not use NVIDIA chips. So the fates of both of these things, NVIDIA and Bitcoin, are closely tied together. And because the government is run by people who prefer Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg and Sam Altman and to the government is oriented towards placing a member of the chosen people at the center of everything, just like the center of, where's the painting, the menorah in the center, where is it? At the center of everything is going to be something kosher. You can wish that all you want, you can dream about that all you want, but at the end of the day, you need shit to fucking work. And these people don't do work. Whereas that Chinaman and his two white buddies, they have an entirely different philosophy, right? Their corporate philosophy is fail quickly and inexpensively. So they know you're going to fail. They're not going to be angry with you at failing. But if you fail slowly and expensively, that they won't tolerate. Fail quickly and inexpensively. Compare that to Intel, which is like, well, we don't want to, this chips that we think we can make, we don't want to spend too much of our profit on healthcare for pregnant women or whatever, or fucking, we don't want to do that. So we'll just push, we won't make the factory in Ohio. We'll push this back 2 more years and build a factory in Japan and use those people, especially the Intel people who have been making their fortunes off of stock market tomfoolery, and who currently have access to taxpayer money via the CHIPS Act. And there'll be a CHIPS Act 2 and a CHIPS Act 3, and God knows how much money will be go down the rat hole. And they still won't beat the China. They're still not going to beat him. I don't think so. Because he has learned all the fucking hard lessons you need to learn. That's why he's on top. Again, his two white buddies, I can't remember what their names are, but I'll get it eventually. I'll get some video of those 3 guys together. But that's what the future really looks like. And so, understand what AI is, and all this push towards it is going to be to distract you from all of their massive fucking failures. And they're going to print money like fucking crazy to try and make robots and self-driving cars so that the rich people don't have to sit in a Lincoln Town car with some smelly Pakistani dude on their way back from watching the lithium mine in South America produce, more batteries for the fucking solar panels. Or who the fuck knows? All of that shit's gonna fail. I guarantee you it's gonna fail. And what's going to be left is Bitcoin. And it's in your self-interest, right, to take the dollars you get paid with and save it in a form that they can't steal from. That's in your best interest. And if you can't see that, then you shouldn't be here, and there's nothing I have to do with. What am I saying to you? You know what I mean? We all know that these are not good people. They're not smart people. But right now they're the ones in charge. And, we have to fucking ride this out, as much as that sucks to hear, we have to ride it out. But we're going to fucking win, and they're not going to win because nobody's going to take paper coupons in the future. No one's going to take an electronic credit that can be printed at fucking will. You know what I mean? What is called money, right, is not going to be this.
We print it digitally, so.
Eventually the world's going to say this.
And this just in, you can go fuck yourself.
We aren't there yet, but we're moving towards that. We're moving towards that bright and happy world where there's no longer a menorah at the center of the painting. Someday, no more homosexual Jews or Jews to lead us to the whatever the fuck. A lot of work to do between now and then. Do your part. Protect what you create in this world that is valuable from them stealing it. And give yourself the ability to transfer to your posterity, if there is posterity. And if not, just scoop up as much as you can so they don't get it and die with that shit in your head. Take it with you, right? That should be your mindset, right? I'm not the happy Michael Saylor. I'm not a billionaire, right? Doing the non-inflammatory idea pitch. That's not me. I am inflammatory guy. So, and if looking at all this doesn't make you think, fuck, I got to do something, meaning I have to take what they want away from them and keep it away from them forever, right? Bitcoin is that big airplane, right? The more of that you get, the less of that they get, and they will obsess over it forever. And this is what we want. This is one of the ways we win, is they drop everything and they waste their entire life trying to get what they can't have, to flip the script on them. But that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm losing my voice again, is a subject for, I don't know, next week's show. Anyway, Virgil Dark Purple Heart, to the lurkers, to the people coming in the next week to the stream, even the stream snipers. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll talk to you guys again next week.